you know this song, sing along with me. Love to have you sing with me. This is an old favorite. It's called Amazing Grace. If you'd like to stand and sing with me, that'd be great.
Thank you. Thanks. Is it kind of intriguing that we're all singing together, and then that last line comes up, And somehow we just all knew, oh, we're all supposed to shut up now. I mean, it's just amazing the kind of coordination that happens just under the scenes. I love it. So thank you both. That was just great, and thank you both. A piece of trivia for you. And I was just really fascinated by this. Patty and I love watching stand-up comedians. And so I got to thinking, who was the first stand-up comedian? We thought about it, and I thought, I think maybe it was Mark Twain. I mean, we don't think of him in those terms usually. He was sort of a commentator of the social situation, but so are the really good comedians too, right? And so on the way over here this morning, as I was driving here, I heard this great line. It was from Mark Twain. And it said, "There is nothing to be learned from the second kick of a mule." I love that one. And really, that's what we're going to be talking about today is how do we see through stuff? How do we learn a little bit more quickly, a little bit more easily? How do we just pick up on what's going on? So I asked Gerald if she'd come up and light our candle for us just to get things started. And as Geraldine lights the candle, what a nice reminder that spark of God, that flame of God is always there within us. All we need to do is turn our attention to it. Thank you, Geraldine. I appreciate that. One of the ways that we can turn our attention to it, of course, is with the emphasis that we put on prayer within the Unity movement. And so we have this prayer vessel right here. We have a couple more just outside the doors. And if you'd like to put in a prayer request for yourself, for someone else, for a situation in the world, what happens is I pray over it for a week, and then we send it back to Unity Village where it's prayed over for a month. And in terms of prayer, what do you have to lose, right? I mean, even if you're not sure you really believe in it, put in a prayer request. Nothing to lose. I think it's pretty good stuff. The second way that we try and honor the role of prayer within the Unity movement is through our prayer chaplains. So could I have our prayer chaplains stand for today? So we've got Scott and Sandra. Great, thank you. So one of them will be in the nursery right after the service. Another one will be in the meditation room. And as I say every Sunday, if you've never prayed with somebody before, there's something real sacred and honorable about that. So please avail yourself of that if you'd like to. Would you join me in an opening prayer? So even before we start, let's just breathe. And even before we begin the prayer, let's choose to be here for the next hour or so. Let's choose to have our spiritual consciousness and our human consciousness right here. So, Spirit of God, you touch our lives. From deep inside, you touch our lives. From all around the world, all around the universe, you touch our lives. In material ways, in physical ways, in emotional ways, in spiritual ways. Teach us to see with new eyes. Teach us to feel and hear and sense you, the Spirit of God. Teach us to search for you as our companion as we make that journey back to God, that journey back to wholeness. And so we say thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Well, isn't life good? It is, right? Yes? Life is good. Would you stand and sing with me, please? This song is called Life is Good.
Life is good.
Life is good, isn't it? It is a good morning. Life is good. The rain, actually, to me, it was welcome, even though I was kind of dodging it coming in. But anyway, it was very nice. I'm Kathy Renellis, and I'm your celebration assistant for today. We love it that you're here on this wonderful Sunday. Welcome to Unity Center of Spiritual Growth, where all people who wish to worship here are welcome. We strive to live, love, and uplift lives. We're inclusive and an affirming church. We bless people of all races, sexual orientations, colors, political beliefs, or anything else they or you may have been judged on in the past. We simply welcome everyone who wants to pursue their spiritual growth. So let me introduce the musicians and tech staff for today. Julie Croteau on vocals, and just amazing job. And Leanne Erlin Moore on piano, and Dagan Williamson, yes, on drums, and Jim Turner on bass. And back in the back, we have Brian Wright, Jim Sullenberger, and Tammy Savage on all the tech stuff. And we want to thank everyone who makes this Sunday service happen, and that includes all the people we don't acknowledge every week, like Judy Sullenberger and Maribel back in the back, and water the plants and set out the food and just do all of those good things. And all our greeters, and Geraldine. So anyway, everyone contributes. So we appreciate everyone. It takes a lot of volunteers for a Sunday service, so thank you very much. If we have anybody here for the first time today, we want to thank you for being here. If you aren't too shy to raise your hand, one of the greeters will bring you a packet. So they can, it doesn't look like anyone's new here. Anyway, and if you want to welcome the people who are first time on the live stream, you can let us know that you're here if you'd like to click on the Connect with Us tab on the website. So thank you all for joining us today. Hopefully you all saw the announcements describing the upcoming activities on the screen before the service. If not, they're listed in your program and on the website. Please join us and get involved. It's a great way to get to know these wonderful people. So let me draw your attention to a few announcements, however. Okay, see if I can read this without my reading glasses. It's tinier print. Okay, if you struggle with overcoming beliefs or patterns from childhood that are out of alignment with your divinity, or if stress and trauma hold you back from stepping into the fullest expression of yourself, then you're going to love this opportunity that God has orchestrated for you to change your life by shifting your subconscious beliefs. Tracy Beeson has arranged to have a psych and certified instructor teach the Psych K-Basic training here in Coeur d'Alene on September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. If you're seeking more peace, abundance, or a deeper connection to yourself, this is the answer to your prayers. There are limited spaces available. So if you're interested, contact Tracy at lightningplan@gmail.com. Okay, and then the Unity Book Sale is saying goodbye to our existing book inventory to make room for new books. As an incentive, the current books on display in the hallway are now 2 for $1. What a deal, huh? So make your selections before they're gone. And finally, don't forget to collect, well, this isn't finally because I have one more thing. I have to, almost finally. Finally, don't forget to collect water samples during your summer outings. You'll be invited to join with those others during our fall gathering of the water ceremony. You also need to remember to bring them, because I've been known to collect water all summer and then leave it at home. So, oh well. So anyway, and then before we go further, Dennis Burkhart is going to say a few words about the staff get-together.
Good morning. We had our board and staff retreat yesterday, and it was hosted by Miss Kathy here. She did an excellent job.
Thank you.
So just an update, we're putting together teams for our transition, for minister search, for just about everything that requires a lot of bodies to find and locate and secure a new minister. So someone from the board will be contacting you to see if you're interested in sitting on a committee. We've identified a number of people for the search committee. We've identified a number of people for the transition committee, and they will be contacting you and asking for your assistance because it's going to take the whole congregation to do this.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are going to have a few minutes to meet and greet one another. We're going to ring the gong when we'd like you to return to your seats. So please say hi to your friends and meet somebody new that you haven't talked to before. And just wait you'll hear the gong when it's time to go back to your seats. Look at, that's tiny. Yeah. I can read this because it's black on white. We all get along so well. In fact, I was chatting so much, Dennis hadn't told me I needed to have the gong read. I mean, who knows? We might have been here to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Who knows? So every Sunday we have someone from the congregation read us a blessing before our meditation time, and today we have Donna Hodge. Good morning. Did you know that last night God dreamt about all of you? The Spirit of God dreamt of each one of you separately. And yet somehow he dreamt about all of you together. As God imagined you, divine light beamed in every direction from every core of your essence. You were radiant and confident. Music followed you. Angels serenaded you. And everyone was elevated by your presence. Wisdom radiated from your eyes. Kindness emanated from your touch, and your very being was simply awesome. And all God could say was, "Wowzers!" Namaste.
Wowzers. That's good. All right, as we prepare for meditation, would you like to join me in singing this chant called It Is Not I? It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God. It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God. Let's sing that one more time. It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God.
So let's take a few minutes now in meditation. So I invite you just to breathe. And as we breathe in, we stir the embers of the Spirit of God. That very breath slowly, inexorably fans the flame of the Spirit of God deep within us. And it is this reminder that there is nothing outside of us, that there's nothing external to us that is somehow holier or more sacred than we are. It is the Spirit of God within us that has this gentle energy. So for just a moment, feel the energy, feel that vibration deep within. There is a vibration, there is an energy deep within us. And it's gentle. And it moves in all directions, from deep within us outward, from deep within us more inwardly. And it's not magic. It's simply the sacred, spiritual existence of exactly who and what we are. There is a vibration of God that is deep within us, and it cannot be explained. It can only be experienced. So let's take that knowledge into the silence for a moment, and let's just be with it. Let's be with that experience of God that's deep within us, that vibrating energy of the Spirit of God in the silence. Spirit of God, you touch me from the inside out. You remind me of the truth of who and what I am. You take me more deeply than I can understand. But there it is. The vibration and the energy and the love and the Spirit of God. And so it is, God. So it is. Namaste.
It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God. Let's sing one more time. It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God.
Thank you. I was thinking that the words and the music of that is just so perfect that, we don't really need anything else. But thinking like that has never stopped me yet, so. In the book of Matthew, Jesus is doing a little preaching. And I'm assuming everybody's probably heard this story in one form or another. It says that a rich young man comes to Jesus and says, "So what do I need to do to get into heaven? What do I need to do to be perfect?" And first of all, Jesus says, "Well, follow all the commandments." And the rich young man says, "Which ones?" And Jesus says, "The following ones." And then he rattles off all of them. And then the rich young man says, "Well, that's what I do, and it's still not there. I'm still not feeling perfect within." And then Jesus says the words that perhaps we've heard before. He tells the young man, "Sell all your riches, give away all your money, give away everything. And when you do that, then you'll be ready." And the rich young man says, "No." and he leaves. And the disciples ask Jesus, what was that all about? And what he says is, it's where your heart is. when you take a look at that story, it's very interesting because right at the end, there's something that's sort of famous and misunderstood. He says it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich person to go to heaven. And so the people are wondering, well, does that mean everybody who has money is a bad man or a bad woman? So Jesus leaves it there, and I'm going to guess many people have heard the explanation. The eye of the needle was a very narrow passageway into Jerusalem, and somebody who was mounted on the camel couldn't pass. It was too much room. And the really interesting part was, if you really wanted to get into Jerusalem, the passageway was so narrow that what it did was it would brush off any saddlebags that the camel might be carrying. So the camel had to go in bare, alone, without anything. Well, I mean, sort of an interesting story, but what's that really mean? Well, in keeping with today's title, which is Seeing It How It Is, I mean, I think that's the gift of Jesus. I think that's the gift of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. I think that's the gift of Lao Tzu from Taoism. They had the ability and they were willing to see things how they really were. And that phrase, "Oh, I see how it is," means, I see what the game is. And now I see the truth. And probably we've all said that at one time or another. I see what's going on. Yeah, and I get the game here. I can remember 35 years ago in this corporation, I was going for a big time promotion, and the general manager of the place had already decided on another guy. I don't know why he was doing the interviews. He'd already decided on this other guy. And I was doing a really good job in the interview. And so the general manager of the place just got up and left. I mean, it was about a 6 or 7 person interview. Just left. And I remember watching him leave, and I'm thinking, oh, I see how it is. He's already decided on this other guy. Well, haven't we all been in that position one time or another, in all walks of life, where we hear this is the way it is, and then within just a short time we find out, no, that's not the value in play here. That's not what's really going on. That's not the promotional criteria. That's not the criteria for getting into this particular organization, this group. When someone says, I see how it is, they're just saying they see how a situation actually works. I think that's the gift of Jesus. I think that's the gift of the Buddha. They could immediately see how it was with people. And when they did that, they just cut through all the garbage. They were able to just get right to the core of things. Say, in spite of all pretenses, this is how it is for you. I mean, that's what he did with the rich young man, right, in the story. Get rid of everything. And that cut through all the garbage because the rich young man just left. Now, Jesus had no problems with money. None at all. And I got a little list here. Here were some of the rich people who followed him. Joseph of Arimathea. That's the guy who owned the tomb where Jesus was buried. Martha, Mary, and Lazarus, sisters and brother. Susanna, Joanna, Mary Magdalene. 4 of the disciples owned their own boat. I mean, we hear they were fishermen, but they owned their own boat. Big deal back then to own your own boat. And so it was never about the money. It was about where your attachments are. It's about where your heart is. An example I think I used here several months ago. Have you ever known somebody who had a lot of money but was a jerk? Have you ever known somebody who had a lot of money but was a really nice person? Have you ever known somebody who didn't have any money and it was a jerk? And have you ever known somebody who didn't have a lot of money and was a really nice person? And the answer to all of those is yeah, of course we've known people in each one of those categories. And the point is, it's not about the money. You could have money or not have money and you could still be a jerk. You could have money or not have money and you could still be a really nice, sacred, holy person. It's not the money. It can be about your attachment to the money. And as you've heard many times, the Bible does not say that money is the root of all evil. What's it say? The love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, when we talk about seeing it how it is, it's kind of like, just as the Buddha said, what's the cause of all suffering? Attachment. It's not the issue itself. It's what are you attached to? And for most of us, it's our attachment to certain kinds of expectations. We want the situation to turn out this way. We want the situation to turn out this way. This relationship, it's supposed to come out this way. And what the Buddha was saying was, no. Get rid of your expectations about the attachment. Instead, greet life as it is. When you do that, what the Buddha said is you can see through to the truth. And that's what Jesus says too. You can see through to the truth. What Jesus and the Buddha and Lao Tzu could do was to see through to the truth and to see where attachments really were. And they could encourage people to let go of that attachment. And always, at least for Jesus, always the answer was, replace the attachment with faith. Man, isn't that a tough one? For so many of us, I want to have faith, but it seems so hard because I'm supposed to believe in things that I can't see. I'm supposed to believe that it'll come out, everything will come out fine, it'll come out okay, but I can't see it. I can't see the cause and effect. I can't see the pathway. What Jesus was saying was discard the pathway, just jump. Just make the jump of faith. There's a woman named Martha Beck, and she wrote a book called Finding Your Own North Star. And by the way, it's pretty good. I'd recommend it to anybody. She talked about two things in terms of personality. She talked about the social self and the essential self. And she said, we're all made up of that. Now, by the way, this isn't any different than any other psychologists. They come up with different formulations of the personality. But I really liked these, the social self and the essential self. And what she was saying was the social self is what we show to other people. And the essential self is who we really are. And what do most of us do? Most of us disguise the essential self really well. And we want to get along. And so because we want to get along, we've become really terrific at just showing just our social self. You know why I like coming here? Because 99% of the people here have said, now this is a term that comes from the original Greek and from the Aramaic. The people right here in this room have said, bullshit. I've had enough. I cannot keep hiding myself anymore. I have got to show who I am. I've got to be who I am. And because I'm not going to discard the social self completely. I still like people who stop at red lights. You know? The social self is really important. That's how we get along. But the essential self, that's us. And that's why we're here. Isn't it? For us to learn different ways, to be able to move closer and closer and closer to exhibiting ourselves, our depth of ourselves. And, so that's what we want. So Martha Beck said, here was a little table. And so on one side, the social self, and on one side, the essential self. She said the social self, first of all, is really conforming. You know, we conform to the rules. And we conform to the rules until we don't anymore. It's really useful to conform to some rules, but when it starts costing us who we really are, man, that's a tough one, isn't it? And so the essential self, to contrast with the conforming self, the essential self is unique. I'm going to display really nicely who I am and what I am. And I think even the essential self ought to be exhibited kind of nicely. Unless you're prepared to go live in a cave somewhere in Tibet. Well, of course we have to get along with other people. Of course we have to stop at the red lights, otherwise people die. But at this point in our lives, and it's not age, it's at this point on our journeys, we've said, I've had enough of conforming everything. And now I want to be more unique. The second one they had was imitative versus inventive. Yeah. I mean, I think on that social self, we imitate what other people do. What are we taught? Read the room. Shh, shut up. Just, look and see what's going on. Read the room. And so we're taught to imitate the other people. And Martha Beck says, nah, we're trying to become more inventive, aren't we? We're trying to find our own way. And again, why have I always liked unity? Well, I kind of like unity because for me, it sort of strikes it right in the middle. I mean, it's not like 90% of the other traditional Christian movements. It's kind of unique, but it's also not off in the broccoli somewhere. Yeah, there's still 600 different unity churches in the country, so it's kind of like I kind of like that. The third one, in the social self, you're more predictable. Oh, I kind of know what you're going to do in this situation, and I know what I'm going to do in this situation. I know when I say, hey, how are you? You're going to say, I'm fine, how are you? That's good. We like those predictions. That's how it gets along. But the essential self, they're kind of surprising sometimes. Somebody says, hi, how are you? And the essential self says, let me tell you. No, I was just coming from just my social self. I don't really want to know. What do we do on that one? Well, we like a little hint of a surprise. We want to do things a little bit differently when our unique self, when our essential self is beginning to show. Things for that social self, a lot more planned. A lot more agendas going on. For the essential self, a lot more spontaneous. Don't exactly know what's going to happen. And then the last one, the social self tends to be very hardworking. I love people who are coming from their social self when things need to be done. But sometimes it's not that things need to be done. It's just personal growth that needs to be done. And when it's just personal growth that needs to be done, playful is okay. Playful is okay. Well, I mean, it's really interesting to look at those two and say, yeah, I can bounce back and forth all the time. We need both selves. I mean, that's just part of life. But you are here at this very moment, each person here, because you want to lead with your essential self more than you ever have before. That's why you're here. That's why we work with one another. I think I've used this example before, but when I teach the new member class, last Sunday of each month, usually I have 4 or 5, 6 people there. And most of them say, I really am not the kind of person who belongs to a church. And I'll say, on Sunday morning, look around. Everybody there says, I'm not the kind of person who belongs to a church. Yeah, that's it. We have a bunch of individuals, but we kind of learn to work together pretty well, don't we? So I think there's a time when we learn to lead with our essential self, but the social self, it never goes away. Got to have both. And as we are so fond of saying with unity, it's just like herding kittens. Yeah. All of a sudden, I kind of want to go my own way. Yeah. I think that traditionally, Western faiths, and I'm including Judaism, Christianity, Islam, the Western faiths, they're built, they're designed, and they encourage people to work with the rules for the social self. It's the social, how are you supposed to show up? How are you supposed to show up in church? What are you supposed to wear? How much am I supposed to give each Sunday? That one's okay. It's really interesting to think about that. Oh yeah, the Western faiths are tending to put their focus on the social self. Here's a list of rules that'll bring you closer to God. And actually, particularly in Christianity, but I know with the Islamic faith too, there's a real active discouragement of people finding their essential self. I mean, at least over the last 2,000 years in Christianity, whenever there was a Christian monk, a Christian brother, the Desert Fathers, whenever they did too much with their essential self, which was individualistic and unique and playful and went their own way, whenever that happened, they got excommunicated. Because if you're in the Catholic faith, we don't want that. We want these rules here, followed right here, okay? The book of Exodus tells us that no one can see the face of God and live. And what they're saying is, stop trying to create that one-to-one relationship between your spirit and the Spirit of God. Because that's not healthy for you, that's not good for you. Back off from that, follow these rules. And unity, again, one of the reasons I love unity, is they're saying, no, it's okay. Don't worry about coming face to face with the Spirit of God. And of course, we take it one step further. We say, God's more of a principle. You really can't go face to face anyway. You get to incorporate that principle into your life. I think with unity and new thought within Christianity, or the Sufi faith, which is within the Islamic, it's sort of the mystical element of the Islamic faith. They're saying, go into your essential self more and more and more, because that's what counts. And yes, there will be fewer people that you can relate to. Not everybody will get you anymore. It's really comfortable if all you do is follow the social rules and become the social self. It's comfortable, just nobody digs very deep, right? But if what you do is you incorporate that essential self, and that's what you begin leading with, kind of like, okay, I'm not going to have as many friends this way, but the ones I have are going to be deeper than I could ever imagine. And I think that's why we're here. I think that's why the people in this room are here. And I also think it's all people. I think we are here to learn to lead with our essential selves. That's why we're here. We're here to lead with the truth. We're here to discover the truth. We're here to be able to say, I see how it is. And the illusions and the appearances, I've got to get past those and get to the core of the matter. We're here to be able to say, we want to know the truth behind all appearances. We're here to move past what society tells me it should be and said, I want to know what the Spirit of God says it ought to be. I think we're here to know that we're a slice of God, that we are an expression of God in action. And as you've heard me say many times, that jives better with physics, by the way, the Big Bang Theory, that we all came from this one boom explosion. And now we're just a form of energy, no different than the stars, no different than the galaxies. And as we lead with our essential selves, as we lead with what's right, we're gonna create relationships with other people that we can hardly imagine right now. We're gonna create relationships that are based on love and truth and depth of everybody's essential selves. And wow, what a big step forward. To do that, we'll really be changed. But honestly, isn't that what we're all after? Isn't that why we're here? We want a big change. Scares the bejesus out of us. But that's what we want. That's why we're here. We want a change that we just can't even explain. We want to be dramatically changed. And if not now, when? Thanks. Namaste.
When the walls come tumbling down, I choose joy, I choose joy. When the world stops spinning round, I choose joy, I choose joy. When my heart's hard to move, when my music's lost its groove, when I have too much to prove, I choose joy, I choose joy. When hate is all I see, I choose joy, I choose joy. When fear won't let me be, I choose joy, I choose joy. When betrayal and lies hide the light from my eyes, I look up to the sky and I choose joy, I choose joy. Help me out here. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. In this moment right here, I choose joy, I choose joy. For the ones that I hold dear, I choose joy, I choose joy. To be who am I? choose joy. Find the stable ground, peace and hope abound. I hear the sweetest sound, the chains are come unbound, and love is all around when I choose joy. This moment right here, I choose joy, I choose joy. For the ones that I hold dear, I choose joy, I choose joy. To be who I might be, for the light to shine on me, for everybody to be free. I choose joy, I choose joy, for everybody to be free. I choose joy. Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. I definitely choose joy. That was great. So it's that time of the service when we ask everyone to give of their financial blessings to the church. If this is your first time, but we don't have any first timers, your presence is a gift to us. We always have someone from the congregation who reads our Sunday prosperity blessing, and today it's Bill Murphy.
It's not about money. We've reached that time of the service when we ask those of you watching online and those of you here in person to share of your financial blessings. What we are really asking is for all of us to take our essential self and let it snuggle right up to our social self. And as we all do that, we get to understand that the very act of giving, the true act of giving, is to share from that merged place of self and heart and soul. It is kind of fun and even a little bit sacred when we give in that manner. So thank you to each of you, because you are the ones who help keep this church bopping right along. How amazing is that? Namaste.
So while the baskets are passing, I ask you to join me in singing. This is the Prayer for Protection put to music by Mark Stanton. Yeah, by Mark Stanton Welch. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
It's mother and daughter, right? There we are. Join me in saying thanks for these love offerings. Spirit of God, we do say thank you. The financial gifts are important, but we find what's even more important is just this ability to not to discard our social self, but just to lead with our essential self. To make that more and more and more the way that we see the world and embrace the world and touch others' hearts. That's the way that we grow ourselves. And so we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And we're not going to have the kids come in this morning because, we do? Like I said, it's time for the kids to come in.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. My sisters and my brothers, we're gonna let it shine. My sisters and my brothers, we're gonna let it shine. My sisters and my brothers, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Now, the reason I didn't think there were any kids today, I thought they were all in here already because Amber is ill today. So she hadn't found anybody who wanted to come forward and lead the group. So I thought, oh, the kids will just be in here. I did notice as I was standing up, I didn't see any kids.
They were with me.
There we go. But Judy asked me to tell everybody what the kids did today was that they broke in the new playground equipment.
And they loved it.
Oh, good. So if you guys want to go back to your moms or dads or parents, that'd be great. Grandparents. Good. Well, let me invite you to stand, and we'll sing our song, our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God
would you join me in the prayer for protection together? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Thanks for being here today. And don't forget, Scott Hickson brought about 20 dozen donuts.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh,